it got to the point where I couldn't take the pain anymore. And I assumed that arthritis had set in, and it had. That's what happens to a lot of athletes that have had injuries and have played a lot of ball. Like I played baseball, basketball, and football in high school, and then when I got to Duke, I played both football and baseball. And consequently, my left hip, I probably raised that left hip of mine 100,000 times maybe playing baseball, and I don't know how many times with football. And it's just probably just a matter of time till it got to me, and sure enough, it did. Well, Dr. Reynolds operated on me and replaced the ball in the socket, and everything turned out fine, and I'm doing great now. Well, my experience with Dr. Fletcher Reynolds is just outstanding. He reminds me of my son. He's about the same age, and my son has a physical therapy business in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And Dr. Reynolds just did a really fine job diagnosing the things that were wrong with me and seeing me when he needed to see me. Well, it's the only way to go. I mean, you just, particularly when you have somebody as efficient as Dr. Reynolds is, I mean, he just knows what he's doing. I just think he's a young man that's up to date with all the new techniques, and that means a lot to a person my age. It really does. I mean, I want somebody that knows what they're doing. And I just think he's outstanding. And I had a pretty good surgeon up in Asheville, North Carolina, but I don't think he was as good as Dr. Reynolds. Played football and baseball at Duke, and then graduated from Duke in '61. And again, we were very fortunate. We had a bunch of guys at Duke back then that weren't outstanding football players. We were all average players. We went into the Cotton Bowl against the University of Arkansas. They were like 3 touchdown favorites against us. And we pulled one of the big upsets at that time by upsetting them 7-6. And with 2 minutes left to go in the game, I threw the winning touchdown pass, which was a real thrill. In 1960, we went out to UCLA, out to the West Coast, to play UCLA. And they always took us to various functions or whatever the day before the ball game. And they took us up to 20th Century Fox. And Elvis Presley and Millie Perkins were filming a picture at the time. And Tuesday Wells also was part of it. So we saw him film a live 2-minute segment. Then Elvis came out and talked to us for a couple hours or so. And all of a sudden he said, "I'd like to learn to throw a football." So they said, "Altman, come over here and show Elvis how to throw a football." Well, what do you say? You're an 18, 19-year-old guy and you meet Elvis Presley, the king. I was so nervous I could hardly stand still. So I said, "Elvis, are you going to the ball game tomorrow?" He says, "You know, I'd like to, but the last time I went to a football game, it took 75 cops to get me out." He said, "Those honeys were all over me." Those were his exact words. But he walked around the grounds with us, very nice to us, very amicable, and we really had a nice time with him. That was a real thrill.